My name is Braden Buckaloo, and this is my defining moment speech for my college speaking class at Labette Community College. My defining moment is when I was in third grade, me and my brother were driving our go-kart around, and a rock ended up getting stuck in the throttle and made us go full speed. And we ended up slipping on water that was like just a puddle in the grass, and we ended up spinning out and going headfirst into a cattle gate, which ended up cutting across my leg all the way from here all the way around to the back of my leg. So we got off of the go-kart and everything, we thought everything was fine. We walked up to our house, and then all of a sudden I looked down at my leg and noticed there was blood leaking down it, and there's a whole gash across my leg. Or then my grandpa rushed me to the hospital, and my mom and dad both showed up, and I ended up having to go into surgery that night because they said it was so close to the artery that they needed to go in and staple it immediately closed. And when I got back home, I couldn't do anything. I had to sit there, and I just sit down while taking a shower. I couldn't barely walk for a couple months, and I eventually had to get the staples taken out, which was not very fun. And then it also sadly ended my football season early, so I missed out on my third grade football season, which I was very disappointed about. And then for my most of my third grade year, I couldn't really do much. I couldn't even play basketball or anything my third grade year. I had to just sit there, and I had to always keep my leg up on another chair, so that the blood didn't go straight down into my leg, so it wouldn't try to start bleeding more. And then ever since then, it's just made me had a different look on life. About how that day I could have almost died, but I didn't, and then ended up dying. So it makes me look at life with more gratitude. And just ever since then, I've just tried to work out. I want to get somewhere instead of just taking life not serious like I did before that. I would just do bad in school and just played football, and that was it. Didn't really care. But then after that, I've actually tried to get my grades up and not joke around and just work out and try to get somewhere instead of just doing nothing. It now has made my mom freak out with anything motorized. She freaks out anytime on or four-wheeler or anything. So sometimes that makes life a little harder, but
Why was it the most defining point in your life?
It was probably the most defining part of my life, just because like I sat there on our carport just looking down at my leg as there's a gash probably that wide across my leg. It was not a very fun experience because I remember it was bleeding a lot. And another thing that happened that was nice is my doctor, the doctor I've had my entire life, came into the emergency room when he heard it happened and stopped them from trying to just sew it back together. The ER doctors were just going to try to sew it back together, even though there was a gash that wide. And they stopped them. He stopped them from doing that and made them actually go into surgery and repair it right instead of just sewing it up and hoping it'd be fine. So he probably caused me a lot less pain that day because I got to get it fixed underneath anesthesia instead of them trying to sew it back together while I was still awake.
And he probably saved you from
would not
in the
been
long
fun.
run.
Yeah, and he probably saved me from a lot more physical therapy and a lot more doctor appointments and stuff like that because it actually stayed together with the staples and stitches and everything in there. Another thing that happened is for the longest time after that, we were not allowed, me and my brother were not allowed to ride, me and my brother were not allowed to ride any motorized thing for probably 2 or 3 years. and it just made some parts of my life a little bit boring. But thank you. That was my defining moment speech.